it's Mrs. Peters. I'm just finishing up working on my Google Classroom. I miss you guys and can't wait until we're together again. Remember, social distancing. Keep 6 feet apart and wear a mask over your face. And I will see you real soon, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with Mr. Cow. Hello. And Mr. Fart Monkey to say that I miss you all, and I hope that you're doing great. And I hope to see you real soon. Hang in there, everybody. Bye.
Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. T. Just checking on you guys, making sure you guys are all doing good and keeping busy, doing all your work. I'm so proud of all you. I've been very busy in my backyard on beautiful days. As you can see, my husband and I have been working very hard on our waterfall. I just wanted to say hi again and keep safe. Can't wait to see you guys again. Miss you. Bye.
Students of Sullivan County BOCES, it's Mr. Rory. I just want to let you all know that I miss you all dearly, and I hope that you're doing well, staying safe. 2 things I've been doing during this time away from work is reading books. I've had this book now for 2 years, and I'm finally getting it finished now. And playing video games, because it keeps me inside. So again, I just want to let you all know that I miss you dearly. Stay calm, stay safe, and stay home.
Hi everybody, this is Miss Trudy. I just wanted to let you all know that I miss you all and I am thinking about you. I hope that you are all staying safe. I know that this is a different time for us, but together we're going to get through it and we will be together again soon. Again, we miss you all, thinking about you. Bye.
This is Mr. Brykoff, just walking through my house. Hoping you guys are doing well and staying healthy and hanging out and relaxing and staying socially distant and all that stuff. It's been a crazy year, but I think we're going to be able to get through it. Hopefully we'll be able to go back to school sometime in the near future. Anyway, just wanted to say hello. Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody. It's Ms. Diorio, your art teacher, just stopping by to say hello. I hope everybody's well and safe. Thank you for staying connected and sharing your posts and your beautiful artwork, of course. This is something that I painted. I'll share with you from a lake where I used to go swimming. So whatever helps us get through this, creativity, nature, go for it and stay well. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Social Distant Family Project. Growing vegetables and fruits. And flowers. Sunflowers, all kinds of flowers. This is our family project. Doing landscaping, keeping ourselves busy, looking forward to unite back with relatives, friends, and all the co-workers and students. And remember, we all in this together.
We miss you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Bob.
That was put together by Donna Hemmer in cooperation with everyone in the video. Everyone had recorded something and sent them in. We have 2 more videos in the works. We'll be posting that on our website. We'll be posting it on our social media platforms and sharing it with the PR folks at BOCES New York. We are also been doing shout outs to all of our students from the teachers on Bold Gold Media, WSUL. Bold Gold has been a great partner throughout this closure and working to provide public service announcements for all of our school districts. BOCES had over 50 shout outs over the past several weeks on Bold Gold Media. And they also posted things for all of the teachers and educators in the county for Teacher Appreciation Week last week. So I just wanted to share that with you so you have a better feeling of what's going on here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that was lovely to see. It really is. I don't imagine it's easier for the kids. I know for my 2-year-old, it's not easy. So I don't imagine it's easy for teenagers either. Does that finishes what you wanted to present to us, Bob?
Yes, and if you just give me a few minutes before board comments, Maria and I have a couple of other little things.
Okay, so then I'm going to move ahead to item number 5, the consent agenda, adoption of the consent agenda, approval of previous minutes, the milk bid extension, the ice cream bid, the distance learning statewide agreement, the instructional technology statewide licensing agreement, and excess equipment and pay raises for pay rates, I'm sorry, for ISS consultants. I need a motion. I'm assuming, Jean, that's an action item?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Sue, thank you. And a second, please. Linda, thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand so we can count you. Okay, it is unanimous.
I have you marked as unanimous.
Yes, 6-0. Thank you. Financial matters. Okay. I need a motion. I do, right, Jean? I don't have whether this is an action item here.
It is an action item, yes.
We're going to go through each of them separately, though. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's start with the annual budget adoption. Linda, did you want to? And Carol Park, thank you. Any questions or discussion? Then I call for a vote, please. Raise by a show of hands, please. All those in favor, no questions. Thank you.
I have you marked as unanimous.
Exactly. Increase employee benefits accrued liability reserve authorization. That's something we do on an annual basis. I need a motion, please. Linda and Sue, thank you. Kenya, I'll get you next time. All those in, discussion, I'm so sorry. Discussion. All those in favor, please, show of hands. Thank you again.
I have you marked as unanimous.
Okay. I had a question, but I'm not sure where it was. I read this as a unit rather than as individual. Can I just throw in a question? Financial matters, I'm questioning the projections. I'm asking this of Susan, yeah. The projection of the financial matters, they're projected based on current needs as we presume them to be? All the increases?
Susan, you're unmuted.
I'm not sure I understand the question, Linda. Are you talking about the recommended contributions to the reserve funds and our calculations for those?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm speaking of.
So every year, and I think I outlined this in the explanation supporting memo, we go through calculations, and just like other school districts, the BOCES make sure that we have a long-range financial plan and that we work to have stability in our budgets and the tuition rates that we charge our participating school districts. So as we all know, these items, TRS or the employee benefit accrued liability, have fluctuations at times. So I'll use the EBLR, the employee accrued liability. That's to compensate staff based on contractual obligations for sick time when they retire, et cetera. So there's a very specific calculation that we use because we can't have more money in our reserve than the value of those compensated absences. Just as an example, to show you how we justify the contributions that we recommend to you. TRS also has a very prescribed formula. A school district or BOCES cannot contribute more than 2% of your TRS calculation. So the total salaries, salaries that are TRS eligible, you can't contribute more than that. The CTE equipment reserve fund, again, a very prescribed calculation that factors in depreciation for all of our large CTE equipment. So all of our auto body shops, et cetera. Go ahead.
That was the one that was, I was specifically.
Yeah. So that one was up to $30,000, and that's definitely the amount that we can contribute based on that. And then unemployment, we had done budgeting, several months ago, and I had shared, the different varying expenditures. And obviously in the climate that we are now, last year we did not ask to put money in the unemployment reserve, but this year we are, because we do anticipate higher unemployment expenses because our subs and other people are on unemployment right now.
So if we could take 6.01 through 6.05, the motion had been made by, who made the motion? By Linda, seconded by Jean?
Seconded by Susan Horton.
By Sue Horton, okay. Is it okay if we take section 6.01 through 6.05 as your motion, since they're all the same? Okay.
Yes,
So
I can do that.
Thank you. So we're going to vote on that as a group because they are amazingly similar in their approach. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Abstentions?
I have you as
Okay, we're all.
I have you as a unanimous.
Thank you, Jean. The infamous claims audit report.
That's informational.
Any questions or comments on it? It's kind of a simple one this time. And the treasurer's report. Also informational?
No.
Okay.
That's an action item.
Jean, how can would I have to, I'm sorry, I'm not, so I have to go to each one, and every time I go to them, I have to turn off, I have to pop over from Zoom. So there's no way to know if it's an act. Is there a way to include the fact that it's action versus informational in this listing that you do?
If I do a detailed one, and that ends up being a lot more paper, but I can come up with something for you for future Zoom meetings.
So could
absolutely.
it be claims audit report dash action?
Yeah, I'll come up with something
Treasurer's
for you.
report dash informational. So I'm not popping back and forth. Thank you so much. That would be really helpful.
The treasurer's report is an action item.
Okay, I need a motion on the treasurer's report. Ken, thank you. Sue, thank you. Questions, comments? Anyone? Great. I'm going to call for a vote, please, by a show of hands. All those in favor, thank you very much. Again, it's unanimous. Personnel matters we're moving to. We're moving to 7.01, which, if you didn't get Jean's latest bit of information, has not changed because she's added the tenure appointments as separate things. Because I was looking for the tenure appointments. So personnel
Tenure appointments come after the personnel matters.
Yes. So personnel matters, I need a motion, please. Carol Park. Oh, I thought that was your hand. Thank you. Ken, second it. Thank you. Questions? Comments? I'm the only one with a question. Bob, Susan, ladies, this is for you guys. On the mentors, it seems to me that we use the same personnel as mentors year after year. I'm not complaining about them, nor am I saying how wonderful they are. I don't have a judgment of that. I'm just wondering if there's a way to invest in some new blood. Or is it done on a basis of seniority?
Jen, can you speak to that a little?
It's actually, there's a mentor committee that is comprised of the teachers union, and I believe Natasha sits on that committee as well. If you want, I can unmute Natasha if you want to hear.
I'd appreciate that.
I've
Thank you.
unmuted her.
Natasha, new blood. I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm not complaining. Please understand, I am not complaining, but I'm just wondering. I keep seeing the same names year after year.
So I've been learning the process for the mentor committee this year. There is a roster of mentors that have applied for to be a mentor. So they have to go through a mentor application and a training to become a mentor and be considered for mentorship. So those are the folks who have requested to become a mentor and who've gone through the training. And it's open every year to possible new mentors. And that goes through the teachers union.
do we, as the district, since it's not the union that is paying them, it's the district, and it's the district that is, I believe, supportive of them, do we reach out to the staff to let the rest of the staff know that, you know, if you are at a point where you can mentor someone else, you know, please feel free to participate and apply? Is that a possibility, or am I, you know, stepping on a minefield here? You've said, say nothing else. That's it. I will withdraw my question. Okay, did we vote on personnel matters? I'm sorry, Jean, did we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. We did. Or we
No,
did.
we have to vote on it. Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Anyone against or abstaining? Okay, no, it's again. Tenure appointments. I need an approval on Mr. Molesky. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Carol. Park. Sorry, Jean. Sue, I saw you second. Questions? We've dealt with all this. I think we're going to just vote on it if that's okay. All those in favor? Excellent. Please congratulate Jeff. Is that Ms. Peters?
Bonnie Peters, Linda.
Excuse me?
Bonnie, I wanted to say her first name is Bonnie. It's Bonnie Peters.
Bonnie Peters. It is Peters. Okay, thank you. That's why I said Miss Peters. I didn't have her first name here. I need a motion. Sue and Kathy, thank you. Discussion, questions? Vote, please. All those in favor? Unanimous again. And Mr.
Malfitano.
Malfitano, thank you. I was struggling with it a moment. I need a motion again. Kathy and Linda, thank you. Questions? Comments? Anyone? Good. A vote, please. All those in favor? Thank you very much. We need to congratulate each of those three people and thank them and tell them how much we really look forward to the next few years with them as part of our organization and as leaders, and maybe they want to mentor somebody. Now we're coming to board member comments, but Bob, I believe you wanted to stop at this point.
Yes, I have two things. One, Maria's going to share, and I'll get to her in a minute. And one is some information I want to share with you. I don't know how involved you all are with the governor's briefings, but they've become kind of my mother's milk on a daily basis, trying to keep track of what's going on. So I'm going to share my screen with you again, just to discuss a few items. And there won't be any sound, so I won't have to worry about that. Let me just open this up. So can everybody see this image, the regional monitoring dashboard? If you just nod so I know you can see it.
Is there a way to make it slightly smaller?
No, but I'm going to get just to a specific graphic.
Okay.
You can see the image?
Yes.
If you take a look, these are the regions that New York State has been broken up into. And this is called the Regional Monitoring Dashboard, and it's based on the 7 metrics that the governor has set to determine whether or not a region can begin the forced phase opening. So if you look down and look at my mouse, this is us here in Sullivan County. Can you all see that? So we are attached to the Mid-Hudson region. The Mid-Hudson region includes Sullivan and Ulster. It also includes Dutchess, Orange, Putnam,
Westchester,
and Rockland. The reason I'm highlighting that is we are attached to a region which is the upper part of the New York City zone, and New York City and Long Island have the highest rates of infection in the state. Rockland has got a significant rate of infection, as does Orange County. Ulster and Sullivan are over 1,000, but Dutchess is also significant. So that's going to factor into what I'm explaining, because we're not going to be able to reopen and start the phase-in for the reopening until the entire region meets the 7 metrics. So now I'm going to scroll down, and these are the metrics. So as of Monday, the Mohawk Valley, the Southern Tier, and the Finger Lakes region have met all 7 of the metrics. The Mid-Hudson region is lacking in the 14-day decline in hospital deaths, or fewer than 5 deaths, and new hospitalizations under 2 per 100,000 with a 3-day rolling average. It doesn't seem like a lot. We met all the other 5, and we have an expected for the testing. But the truth of the matter is, because of the region we're attached to, until there's a significant improvement in Rockland and Dutchess, our region will not be able to start the phase-in reopening. So even though it seems like it's not a lot, only 2 out of the 5, the 2 out of the 5 that we need to attain and have a green check mark in are significant. And let's see if this comes up. Can you see this graphic?
Yes.
So this is the simplistic version of the phased-in reopening plan. So as of Monday, the Southern Tier, Mohawk Valley, and Finger Lakes, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, curbside retail can start to operate. There is a 2-week period between each phase. And during those 2 weeks, they cannot regress in any of those categories. Otherwise, they have to stay frozen in that phase. So in 2 weeks, as long as the metrics are all positive and they haven't gotten worse, they can move on to phase 2, which will be professional service, finance and insurance, retail and administrative support. That's all I want to focus on for the moment. I've been asked over and over what's going to happen in Sullivan. And the point of this short little presentation is what happens in Sullivan is more dependent on what happens in Dutchess and Rockland than it is on what happens in Sullivan. So conceivably, any of the regions after the order expires on Friday, so the New York pause expires Friday, which is May 15th. Starting from that point forward, we go to metric attainments. Whatever day a region attains all 7 metrics with a green checkbox, they can conceivably immediately enter phase 1. So under ideal circumstances, if Sullivan was to reopen Monday, the earliest we could reopen our administrative offices, because that would be the one thing we would be focused on now because school is closed, would be the very last week in May, the first week in June.
Right.
But phase 2 has certain conditions applied to it. Social distancing, safe work environment, and very little explanation. We would only reopen with a phased reopening. So we would be working an ABC day. We would need to reduce the density of individuals working in our administrative offices. And we have about 60 people that work in that building. So in order to properly social distance, we would have to stagger their work schedules, especially now that we have a cubicle arrangement in the new offices, so that people were not working in the cubicle right next to each other. I share this with you because it's the first time I saw the graphic on the metrics that was released by the governor yesterday, and it's very well done and it's easy to explain. And this graphic comes out of the 51-page guide that accompanies the first graphic. But this was the only relevant point because the other stuff was a lot of redundancy. But this will give you an idea when you hear about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, and when they're talking about the metrics. The key is what happens regionally. The governor is going to be appointing regional control rooms, which will consist of 2 political figures 2 academic figures, and they will be the ones making the determination as to when the region can move on. My colleagues in Orange and my colleagues in Rockland made it very clear on my statewide call last night that those 2 counties are a long way from even considering this. So I guess the moral of this long-winded story is do not anticipate us going into phase 1 anytime in the immediate future.
Bob.
Yes, Linda.
2 things. One, would you send a copy of this to all of us? I think it's impressive and I'd like to have it to mull over in my own time. Is there any way to speak to Aileen or whatever other official people we have for our representatives to petition that Orange and Sullivan be pulled out of this? We do not have the city level of concentration that they have in both Orange and Dutchess. Orange and
that question
Rockland,
was
I'm sorry.
answered today, Linda. There are numerous regions. So if you go back to the first, just bear with me because I have to figure out. If you go back to the map.
Yeah.
I read during the governor's press conference today, the, what's the purple region? This is
Mohawk Valley.
Right, so they're okay, but you go next door and that is
Central New York.
Okay, so apparently a number of the counties in central New York have the same issue you just brought up. They're tied to larger metropolitan areas that are more impacted than they are. And the governor told them flat out, we will not reopen on a county by county basis. The regions have been established and those are the regions we're working with. So he was asked about this.
I mean, I listen to him almost every day. I have him taped, his sometime between 11 and 12 beginning. But I mean, Ulster and Sullivan are so different than Orange, and we just are.
Well, and here's the kicker. Rockland is skyrocketing.
Sure it is. It's very
right
dense.
next door. And Putnam, if you look at the statistics, we have just a few fewer cases than Putnam. So Putnam and Sullivan are very similar, even though Putnam's closer to the hotspots. So there is no rhyme or reason to it, but he made it clear this is what he's going by.
All right.
Thank you. Any questions? Ken, Kathy, Sue, Carol? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can do this. Oh, I'm getting good. Oh no, they're just teaching me too. If you want to see something truly impressive, I had the fortune to sit in on our New Visions, which is one of our health occupations college classes, and they're preparing for their summative speeches to get their public speaking credit through SUNY Sullivan. And I sat through their mock presentations, the official presentations on June 8th. These kids had taken to these platforms. They had not started the speeches prior to the closure. They have collaborated remotely on their research under their teacher supervision. They're teaching the teacher as they go along. They're absolutely phenomenal what these kids are doing. I can't tell you how impressed I was. And they're going back and forth. They're talking to each other. It's not perfect. They miss each other. And a cute sidebar to that is Scott Palermo, the principal of CTE, the teacher, Mrs. McKay, and one other individual drove to every one of those students' homes in a caravan, wearing their masks, honking the horns and getting out of the car. And apparently the kids all morning long were texting their progress. Did they get to your house yet? They haven't gotten here yet. Do you know when they're going to get here?
That's wonderful. That really is.
Now, Ken had asked me a sidebar question earlier today, and Ken, I truly wasn't ready to start discussing this, but thank God for Maria. She was able to cobble together a short overview. Ken asked about planning for the future. And we've started this process. Marie, I'm just going to unmute you. We started this process 3-4 weeks ago at senior management. And Maria has been facilitating this, and she's going to get into it. But I just want you to know we've started planning. We anticipate having a draft plan in place by June 1st. It covers 3 distinct eventualities, and it's all encompassing. It involves all of the constituents in the BOCES, and at some point will involve all of our community partners, public sector, as well as the board in the planning phase. So I'm going to let Maria go through her short slide deck. And I would just ask if you would hold your questions off until she's gone through the presentation. It's very quick, but it'll give you an overview of what we're doing.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Oops.
It's just much bigger than our space.
Is it too big? Okay.
A little too big.
Let me just try this. Is that better or no?
No different, but that's okay.
All right, no, I'll do it this way.
Much better.
Okay, but it always goes to full screen like that. How's that?
Excellent.
That's okay. All right. So this is our reopening plan. This is just sort of an overview of the process that we've been through. So we are talking about contingency planning for fall 2020, bringing students back to school either under 3 different scenarios. If it's possible, of course, we'd like to have everything go back to normal and have face-to-face instruction. The second option that we're talking about is a phased in, moving from remote instruction to face-to-face instruction over time. So we may move certain groups back at a certain time, or much like Governor Cuomo has his 4 phases, we would have phases of moving students back to face-to-face instruction. And then the third model is a blended hybrid model, which would allow us to move fluidly between remote instruction and a modified face-to-face instruction. And at this point in time, it seems like that possibly may be the most likely, but we don't know. So we have to plan for all 3. To do the planning, we're using something that's called the technology of participation. They have 2 protocols. One is called a focused conversation, and the second one is an action planning protocol. And these are protocols that were developed by the Institute of Cultural Affairs. They're very structured. They are to bring diverse groups of people together to think and talk and work together and allow everyone's voice to be heard. It's utilized by government agencies really across the World Bank, universities, and the techniques really do foster participation, inclusiveness, creativity, and buy-in. So these protocols are something I was introduced to several years ago, but I went in September to a 2-day seminar to be trained in facilitating these. So when this project came up, it seemed like it was a good fit for these protocols. So we started, as Dr. DeFore said, we started by looking at some resources that Dr. DeFore shared with us. One of them was from the BOCES of New York. That was the first one. And then the next day, we received one from Cap Region BOCES. And as we have gone through the process, we've added more. There's a really comprehensive document from the AFT. There's been some blog posts or articles written by McKinsey, the McKinsey group. But senior management participated in a focused conversation around the first 2 resources and identified 5 subcommittees. And so we have an operations and safety committee, a communications committee, a technology committee, an instruction and social emotional learning committee, and a professional development committee. So we have these subcommittees, I guess you could call them. And each of those have staff members from administration, from the teaching staff, from operations and safety. So all the people, all the key individuals that need to be on the committees are participating in that work. And so we met last week as a large group. I think there's about 40 some people involved. And we did a vision planning, an overview and a vision planning protocol, which is the first part of the action planning. We did something that's called setting the current reality, which is sort of a SWOT analysis, if you've done that, where we looked at strengths and weaknesses and benefits of the work that we were talking about doing. And we came up with some commitment statements that just were sort of very high level statements of what we want to accomplish. And so this week we've moved into subcommittee meetings, and those we've had, I think 3 of the 5 committees have met. And those committees were tasked with identifying key actions. So identifying exactly what needs to get done in order to open school under those 3 different scenarios, and developing a calendar. So we have the actions, but then we also know in what order things need to get done. And that's kind of where we are right now. Moving forward, we will be looking at preparing and facilitating the plan, which is writing the plan, putting it in a finalized form. Not that it will be the final plan, but finalizing the plan, sharing it out with stakeholders, as Dr. DeFore mentioned earlier, community partners, the board, the districts, and as we move forward with the plan, tracking implementation, making sure we're sticking to the calendar, sustaining the momentum, giving regular updates to everyone that's involved, communicating between the subcommittees and with community partners, et cetera, and celebrating the accomplishments that we have along the way. The plan will not be static. It will be ever changing as the situation changes, but I think we will have included many voices that will help make it a strong plan. And it's hard to know what the future brings, but we'll be ready for it.
So thank you, Maria. Does anyone have any immediate questions?
A lot of information. Thank you.
All right, so thank you.
Maria.
I need to unshare my screen.
You need to do that. Thank you.
Yep.
So I guess we come to board member comments, and I'm going to start. I'm going around on my screen, whom I have. So as I go, I'm going to start with Ken.
Just one more. Well, I'm sure everybody here has thought of this already, but Bob, you know, what happens if indeed state aid is cut by 20%? What does that mean for our 8 districts and for our BOCES program? You know,
we'll know in the next 2 weeks. Ken.
Like Maria said, we can't foresee the future, but that's a possibility.
It's more of a if, it's not if, it's when. So everything I've read, the federal government is no closer to providing additional aid for states. And it's caught up in politics in Washington. So I think we're going to see the first round of cuts go into effect. The recommended cuts from the Division of Budget were delivered to the legislature in the past 2 weeks. They'll be making a decision very, very soon. And they have a choice. They can either decide to accept the package of proposed cuts, and out of the $10.1 billion, 80% of it's got to come from the aid to municipalities, and that includes school districts. So I don't think it's a matter of if there'll be cuts, it'll be when there'll be cuts. I read somewhere today, and Susan saw it as well, that somebody forecast it would be $2,300 per student across the board in each school district. So if you take the smallest school district, it's over $1 million. So it's going to be catastrophic. And school districts are holding back, waiting to see. And here's the kicker. We used to go to run to Aileen and Jen to get supplemental money. There's no supplemental money this time around. There's no bullet available. There's just no money available. They're not taking in any money. So it is going to be catastrophic, and we have to respond to them. So right now, we're not forecasting anything at this time because our FRSRs have come in and they're fairly stable. We will deal with it on a case-by-case basis. So we have no immediate plans or decisions because the information we're currently dealing with doesn't call for us to have that. We will need to wait the next 2 weeks to see how our districts are impacted. And don't forget, whatever is announced doesn't affect now to June 30th. That year is already pretty much done. This is cuts for July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And there is a second look back period that's going to happen in June for the months of May and June. So it could be 2 back-to-back punches. That answer your question?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I realize that you're thinking about this and worrying about it, but I just wanted to make sure that you've got sort of a plan B. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, that brings me to Kathy. We're on board member comments, Kathy.
I just wanted to thank everybody for all they do and the hard work everybody's putting in. It's very much appreciated.
Thanks, Kathy. That's wonderful. Coming right around, Sue. Can we unmute Sue, please? There you go.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Linda.
I'm good. It was pretty much what Kathy was what Kathy said there. Just thanking all the staff and senior management for all of their dedication. And I know it's a challenge right now.
Thank you. Carol Park.
I feel the same way. I'm grateful I'm retired and not on the front lines like the rest of you are, but I certainly appreciate absolutely every waking minute, and probably those minutes that you're sleeping, but you're on the verge as well. But thank you all so very much.
Thank you. And I'm going to close with one question that I know is going to have a wonderful answer. How did Virtual Spirit Week go?
That would be Natasha.
Somebody let Natasha speak.
I'm good. I submitted all my pictures. We're Colleen Lynch, who's our assistant principal. She kind of takes over the PBIS component for all of our programs, so it's been very collaborative. So I'm waiting to see the final results, but everyone was very participatory in sending their pictures in. So
I thought it was brilliant.
Yes, and I know it's just those little moments that just bring the spirit of school back to normal for us, that we can participate. So those are the uplifting moments through all this. So I can't wait to see what she comes out with.
Neither can we.
Videos together. So.
Thank you so much. And again, from me, thank you all. Senior management is amazing. Joanne and Chelsea, thank you for joining us tonight. Board members, thank you for being wonderful. And Bob, and that's it for me. I think I'm going to ask Kathy to make a motion. Kathy makes a motion to adjourn, and Ken seconds it. Raise your hands. You don't have to shut your laptops off. Thank you very much. Jean, thanks again, and you can shut us down.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night to everybody.
Thank you, everyone.